Lake City Academy is a very special school. There's beautiful families in our community that are very welcoming, that really care for one another, and I think that's what makes us unique.
The methods I use in my classroom, so many. Whatever the kids need, we do.
I like how it's fun and we get to play and have fun together as a whole school.
We can only grow academically if we're growing personally. So the academics just become a list of numbers and words that you have to memorize if you're not moving as well.
Because of the values that we keep at the school, we can connect more like a community.
This school is different from, I think, every school I've taught at.
They are really nice here, and if you need help on something, they will immediately come up to you and be like, oh, here.
We're always striving to try something new, do something a little different.
I have never had a school where one of the main core values was curiosity, and I am trying to install that in my students' minds.
In a small community like ours, we have an opportunity to pursue a lot of individual things that you might not in a larger group. Our kind of top to bottom structure that's available here is very easy for me to talk to the principal or school board chair, and we can come up with trips or activities quite quickly.
When you look around, you can see so many different ways that students learn, the different ways that teachers teach, and all the interaction that goes on this campus is top-notch.
Academy. Obviously, we are a church with a ton of young kids here, and it's a blessing to share our campus with all the kids over at the school, the teachers, and everything that goes on there. We ask that you would keep them in your prayers. If you know of kids that need to be in the school, let us know. Let them know about the school as well. Today, welcome to worship. We hope you experience the joy of Jesus as we continue our series, 4:8. We are journeying through a series through Philippians 4, verse 8, and there's actually a book if you want to follow along called 4:8. You can go online and look it up. It's a powerful little book. Pretty easy read, but it will change your life. So welcome, glad you could join us on this journey. Next week, we will be taking a break from that series, though, because we have a very special event. We have Pacific U coming up, which means great food, great messages, and some extra learning going on. Next week, we have Gabriella Phillips coming from the NAD to share with us. Now, I'm excited to have her come. Can't wait for this Pacific U. But Darlene Handel knows her a little better, so she's going to come share with you just a little bit more about what this weekend will hold for us and what we have in store.
Now I want to see a show of hands of any of you that know the neighbor personally. That's great. I don't know how much you know about the neighbor or what the interaction is, but neighbors are important in many, many different ways. Next weekend, we're going to learn about who our neighbor is and how to interact with our neighbor. We're going to learn a lot of things, but I really want to give you a secret. You're not going to want to miss it. You're really going to want to be here. And if you know anybody from some of the other churches too, I think they will be changed completely if they come to this Pacific U. Now, Pacific U's are good, but this one is going to be really good.
Goes to help support events like Pacific U coming up next weekend, support all the children's ministries and community outreach we do here. So thank you for your generous giving. You can give online at CDAAdventist.org or in the boxes in the back. Now for what might be the best time of our whole service. Children, it's time for the children's story today. So go ahead and get up, take up the children's offering, and Alice Hay has a story for you this morning.
Any of you guys play sports or sometimes catch with your parents? Show of hands. I do, like maybe basketball or volleyball or golf. Well, does anybody know what sport this belongs to? And I'm going to give you a hint, even though it seems a lot of you know. There's a really big event coming up tomorrow. Hey, you got it? What is it? Throwing it? Close. Yeah? Football, that's right. And today I'm going to tell you a story about how God used a football player to share his message with millions of people. So, there was this football player named Tim Tebow, and he was a star college football player. While he was playing college football, he had seen some people write messages on their eye black. Eye black is basically these black smears that football players put under their eyes so that it will protect them from the glare of the sun and they can throw and catch better. Well, Tim Tebow had seen some people writing messages on his eye black, and he decided he was going to write the message Philippians 4:13, which says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. A couple of people saw his eye black and noticed the writing, but he felt like God was calling him to change the verse. So as you can see up on the screen, during a national championship, he decided to change his eye black to John 3:16. Do you guys know that verse? Yeah, let's hear it. Anyone? Becca? You want to say it? That's right. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. Well, after the game, Tim Tebow learned that over 94 million people had Googled this verse. 94 million people didn't know John 3:16. Can you believe it? Well, God is so big that he used something so small like that little verse to share his word with them. Tim Tebow went on to play professional football for the NFL, and he played for a team named the Broncos. Now, in the NFL, he wasn't allowed to write the Bible verse on his eye black. However, something amazing happened anyways. He was playing a game, his team, the Broncos, against a team called the Steelers. And after the game, they won. Tim Tebow's friend, Patrick, told him these facts about the game. It had been exactly 3 years, since he had worn John 3:16 on his eye black. During the game, he had thrown the ball for 316 yards. The total time his team had the ball was 31 minutes and 6 seconds. The ratings for the night online were 31.6. And during the game, 90 million people Googled John 3:16, even though he wasn't wearing his eye black. God is always working, with or without you, and he uses the little things you do to make big things for the people around you. Who knows, maybe you can do something little today, like smiling at someone, or maybe writing a Bible verse somewhere where people can see. And God can use it to make lots of people read his message. That's all.
Good morning, everyone. Why don't you bow your heads with me and let's pray. Father, it's a good day to gather together in your presence. There are those of our family who are hurting, who are having health concerns. We want to pray that you are with them, that we can be there to support and encourage them as well. There are those who are having relationship or work or mental issues, things that are challenges that make life hard for us. Lord, help us to encourage one another, but look to you for a remedy for all these things. Look to you for peace, for comfort, and for the strength we need sometimes in this life. And help those of us who are able to share with each other the strength and peace that comes from you. Lord, this morning we ask you to bless us with your presence here in the sanctuary. And those who are watching us online, be with all of us, encourage us, and open our hearts and our minds to the word that Pastor Jeremiah is going to share. We love you, Lord, and we are so grateful that we get to spend this Sabbath together with you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Would you rather? If you've been around kids, you've probably heard kids play it, and usually the way it goes is there's something that we all take for granted that could never possibly happen, and then the kid makes you pick between the two things that you would never want to have happen. And the other day at dinner, my daughter Alice says to me, "Hey Daddy, would you rather everything you think in your internal monologue, everybody can just listen to it?" And I was like, "I don't need to hear the next one. I don't want that one." And then she says, "Or would you rather not be able to even put together a coherent line of thought?" I thought, okay, I guess I could put up with the internal monologue being open knowledge. But it seems like there's things in life that we really do take for granted, and one of those that it may seem unthinkable, but on the other hand, I think, well, it's not true. We take God for granted. It's just so easy. So today, as Pastor Jeremiah talks about God as the source of joy, we're going to sing about how amazing it is that God looks at us as his children, and there really is no better foundation for our joy in life than him. So please sing with us.
Christ, he has ransomed me. His grace runs deep. While I was a slave to sin, Jesus died for me. Yes, he died for me. Who the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God, yes I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am who you say I am. I am who you say I am. Redeemed, how I love to proclaim it. Redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed through his infinite mercy. His child and forever I am. Redeemed, redeemed, redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed, redeemed, his child and forever I am. Redeemed, redeemed, redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed, redeemed, his child and forever I am. You may be seated. As the deer panteth for the water, so my soul longeth after you. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are
idea for this last one. You know, we were planning on having all the instruments plugged in, but we've got feedback today. So why don't we just all stand again, and let's just sing this with no PA. How about that? Everybody up, stand? Maybe we need some, I don't know. Somehow, through all the distractions of the world, may it be you that we would rather have than anything else. We love you. Amen.
We were headed down the hill It was amazing. It was awesome. It was skiing. Although this year, not quite as amazing and not quite as awesome as in previous years. If you've been up skiing this year, you're with me this morning, right? And so we're going down the hill, and it's a fairly simple run and just carving back and forth when all of a sudden the back of my skis skip out from underneath me. And I'm like spun to the side and trying to, hang on and rinsing myself all over awkwardly on the mountain, hoping no one on the lift is watching, as my ski just goes skittering across the ice. Get myself back under control and start going down a little more and hit another spot and slide about 12 feet down the mountain without being able to get the edge dug in. The next week I was up skiing with Brent, and he had sharpened his edges, and it still didn't matter. Skiing on ice is just, what's the right word for it? It's not fun. That's a good way to put it. Skiing on ice is not that fun, right? Because you think you're going to have a blast, and you think you're in control, and you think you're good at what you're doing, and you're in your position, and you're headed downhill, and you're over your skis, and you're balanced nicely, and all of a sudden you hit ice, and the edge does not catch, and the edge won't hold, and it just does something to your mind, which then in turn does something to your body, and a surge of fear runs straight through your body from head to toe. In that moment, how many of you have been there? All right, quite a few of you. Quite a few of you have been there in that moment, right? In that moment, what happens to your muscles? Are you loose and enjoying in that moment? No, immediately, right? Yeah, you tense up, right? All your form goes out the window. Everything you normally do, no matter how long you've been skiing, right? No matter what you've been doing. In that moment, when you lose control and your skis come out from underneath you, your body tenses up and you don't do what you're supposed to do. You don't ski with confidence, and the more it happens, the more times you're going down the mountain, the more times you lose that edge, and you slide out, your skis slide out from under you, the more tense you ski, until even when you're skiing on good snow, your form's probably a little bit off, right? You're not where you need to be, not where you should be. Because there's something about our minds that plays tricks with our bodies. And we all kind of know it. We all know that impact happens, but sometimes I think we don't realize how far that carries over into real life. If you played sports at all, you play better when you're relaxed or when you're tight? When you're relaxed, right? When you're relaxed and you're confident and you know what you're doing, you play better. What about though? Let's move into a different realm. What about how many of you can tell a story? Anyone in this room can tell a story? How many of you can tell a story? Sitting down at the dinner table, you can look across the table and tell someone what happened in town that day, right? Any of you struggle with that? Anyone here struggle, like sitting down at the dinner table and telling someone what happened to you earlier in the day? Do you need to write it down and have notes to be able to tell across the dinner table? Okay, let's change the scenario. That same story you just told at the dinner table, we're going to now bring you up and we're going to stand you right here and turn you around. You're going to face this whole audience. And you're going to now tell the story from the front. How many of you might need notes? A lot of laughter, a lot of hands going up, right? What changes? Not your ability to tell a story. Your mind is still the same mind that can remember every detail of that story to tell across the dinner table, right? You don't need those notes to tell that story, do you? Your mind is capable of remembering the details to tell the story to someone until you get placed in a situation where your nerves kick in and you tense up, and all of a sudden all that goes out the window and your mind can no longer process as it normally would, right? Are you with me this morning? You've been there in that moment, in that situation, right? Or you've got a big test. Say you're at school and you got a big test coming up, right? And you wake up and you get to school and you forgot you had the test. And you didn't study the day before for the test. And you know the information, you were in class, but now you're nervous about the test, right? Your nerves are heightened and you're a little tense. Are you likely to do better or worse on the test if you're a little more nervous, right? A little more nervous. In fact, a study recently done by Stanford is confirming this. Your mind actually has power to change things in the real world. And we all know it from personal experience, but this is actually takes it even a step further. People who believe, catch this one, this one's kind of funny. People who believe that doing physical work at work actually live longer than those who do the exact same amount of physical work at work, but don't believe it counts as exercise. You get that? Just believing that the activity level you have at work counts as exercise will result in you being healthier and living longer than the person who does the exact same amount of exercise as you, but doesn't believe it counts as exercise. According to research done by Stanford University. In fact, it goes on even further. It said, telling someone that the milkshake that they are drinking is indulgent, just telling them that this is indulgent, will result in them getting full faster and not being able to drink as much. Same milkshake, same person, one word different. Just change what goes on in their mind. Similarly, they've also discovered if you tell someone that there is caffeine in a drink they're drinking, their blood pressure will go up whether there's caffeine in the drink or not. Doesn't matter what's in the drink. If you believe it's in there, it impacts your blood pressure. The study goes on, they describe pain and recovery. Those who are positive, those who think positive, happy thoughts, have less pain recovering from surgery and get out of the hospital quicker than those who don't. Doesn't matter their health condition coming in, it matters what's going on up here. A healthy person who is thinking negative thoughts will heal slower than an equivalently healthy person who's thinking positive thoughts. And same thing with an unhealthy person. It's crazy. Our mind actually literally affects what happens in the real world. What you think changes reality. Have you ever wished you could change reality by the way you think? Like by thinking something, you could actually change circumstances? Well, we are actually being told by science that you can. In fact, science isn't the only one that tells us this. Jesus says, if you believe, how much is possible for you? All things are possible. If you believe in your mind, then all things are possible for you. And we read that and we immediately spiritualize it, right? We put it in the spiritual sense. If I believe, then God will do things for me, maybe, possibly, and probably something will happen, right? But science is actually uncovering that what you believe literally changes reality around you. Changes your reality. So let me ask you this. Are there things in your life you would like changed? Are there things in your circumstances you would like changed? Are there things about the way you live or think or do things you would like changed? Well, then this sermon series we're in is for you. Because we're going to go through week by week how to go about changing your mind so that you can change your reality. It works kind of like this. Any of you use your phone GPS to get around? Punch in an address and go somewhere? And if you go to the same place repeatedly, like I get in the car and it immediately brings up and tells me how long it's going to take me to get to the church here. Any of you have that experience? You go somewhere often enough all the time that your GPS automatically loads for you and tells you, here's where you're probably going to go, here's how long it's going to take you, and here's traffic. Or actually even now, it's gotten smart enough, it'll tell you 15 minutes ahead, you need to leave 15 minutes early to go here today because we know you're going there today, right? Any of you have that experience? Your mind is the same way. Your mind will chart a path forward for you without you even stopping to think about it, because you program it over time. your life is not so much about where you've been, but it's more about where you're going. This is important to remember when we come to this subject. As we look at Philippians 4:8, it says, focus on the things that are good, right? Focus on the positive. Focus on the pure, the just, the righteous. Focus on things that are praiseworthy. Focus on all the positive things in life, and that's what God's will for you is, to result in a positive life. That's what it tells us to do. Anybody always do that? Any of you struggle maybe with negative thinking? Whether maybe it's about yourself. You get up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, or you think about what you did yesterday or the day before, and maybe you don't like yourself so much and you get down on yourself, and there's this negative self-talk. Anybody have negative self-talk going on up there? The good news is it doesn't matter so much what you did yesterday. It matters what you're going to do today and tomorrow. See, your past way of thinking does not set in stone and determine your future way of thinking, or God would not have given us the instruction to focus and to dwell on good things. If we couldn't change, if our thinking patterns could not change, God would not have told us to change the way we think, right? In 2 Timothy 1:7, the Bible tells us, God has not given us a spirit of fear. God has not given us a spirit of fear. That fear that surges through you, that fear that debilitates you, that fear that binds you and keeps you from succeeding and excelling in life, is that from God? According to Timothy. Is God the one that's giving you that fear that restricts what you can do in life? No, that is not from God. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. God has given us the spirit of a sound mind. Doesn't mean we start with one. It means he wants us to end with one, all right? So don't beat yourself up and don't go negative on yourself because you've been negative, or you will remain negative. Are you with me? Right? Now, I want to ask you a question. How many of you stop and regularly think about what you're thinking? You stop and analyze the thoughts that are going through your mind. Now there's an old saying, think before you what? Speak, right? Think before you speak. But according to Paul here, we should think before we think. We should think before we think. Because you can actually capture what's going on in your mind and change it. You don't have to be bound in a pattern of negative thinking about yourself. You don't have to be trapped in a pattern of thinking that's down on yourself, that's critical of yourself. You don't have to go there. You don't have to stay there. That can change. And God tells us here, he has not given you the spirit of fear. He doesn't want this to be the spirit that binds you. Now most of us live our lives based on one of two main principles, right? The first is avoidance of pain, avoidance of the fear of pain. And the second one is pursuing what? Pleasure, right? Pleasure and pain kind of drive our lives. We're either seeking after one or running away and trying to avoid the other. Sometimes the two go hand in hand. And so Paul here gives us a recipe for how to think in a way that will lead to joy, lead to pleasure, lead to success in life. He gives us a way to think about what we think. 1 Corinthians 15:57. Let's go there really quick. 1 Corinthians 15:57. 1 Corinthians 15:57. Therefore, it says that the sting of death is sin and the power of sin is the law. But thanks be to God, he gives us the what? Anybody got that yet? Sorry. He gives us the victory. There you go. He gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. So we saw in the previous verse, God doesn't want you to have a spirit of fear, but he wants you to have a sound mind. And here we see he gives us as a gift the victory. Does God want you to live a life filled with defeat? and bound by fear. And you may say, this sounds a little bit like the prosperity gospel. Not at all. Not at all. Would you consider Paul as living a prosperous life? Shipwrecked, beaten, whipped, thrown in jail, writing many of these words from a prison cell. Anything prosperity gospel about that? There's not. But he writes these words to us anyway from the depths of difficulty and trial in his life. And there's probably not any of us who has a more difficult life than Paul did. And yet Paul is the one that's writing these words that God has not given us a spirit of fear. He has given us the victory as a gift, and he gives us these things to dwell on and to focus on in order to center our lives and lead us to joy day by day. There's another side, though. I asked the question, how many of you think negative thoughts about yourself? There's generally two categories we fall into if we're not in the Philippians 4:8 category. And one is thinking negative, critical thoughts about ourselves. The other, if we aren't in the Philippians 4:8 category, is thinking negative, critical thoughts about the person sitting next to us, right? I won't ask you to raise your hands on this. But if you struggle with either of those, there's a couple different principles that you can use in order to get away from those. Now, the reality is this. All of us are going to face circumstances in life that lead us to think negatively about ourselves or about others, right? You're going to see someone and your immediate reaction is going to be a negative thought. You're going to do something and your immediate reaction is going to be, that was stupid. Why in the world did I do that, right? There are going to be moments where negative thoughts come in. To be honest, there are moments where negative thoughts should come in, right? Keeps us from doing more stupid stuff. But what Philippians is getting at here, at the very end, he says, here's what I want you to do. With all these good things, I want you to dwell on them. I want you to immerse. This is where I want you to spend your time. I want you to set up camp here in the positive. I want you to set up camp here in that which is good, holy, just, praiseworthy. If there's anything to talk good about, this is where I want you to set up camp, right here in this positive place. So there's a couple tricks you can use that if you read the book, he brings out in his book. And it starts with asking questions about what you're thinking. So we're not trying to control what we think yet. We're just saying, okay, let's just ask some questions that guide our thinking. So if I ask myself, what's going to go wrong today? Am I in a 4-8 camp or am I in an anti-4-8 camp? Anti-4-8, right? I'm in the negative. What could go wrong today? Or who is out to get me today? Who's out to get me? Who's going to cause me problems when I get to work today? Anybody have those thoughts? Or I know who's going to cause me problems at work. Maybe you don't even ask the question, right? If we're going down that line of thinking, asking the questions of what could go wrong, what might go wrong, who's going to dislike me, who's going to be against me, or that line of thinking, we are in the wrong line of camp, or the wrong line of thought, and the whole pattern of our thoughts is going to go down that line. The questions we ask determine the patterns our thoughts take. So start out your day with 5 4-8 questions. Who loves me the most? Great one, right? Who in my life loves me the most? And go through and list 5 instances of individuals who love you and are invested in you. What 5 things do I have to be thankful for when I wake up this morning? Right? 5 things, 5 questions. Ask yourself, what 5 things? Here's another good one. What 5 achievements am I most proud about that I've accomplished in life? What 5 things have I accomplished that I am proud about in life? Or here's one. What 5 things looking forward, or what 5 things do I look forward to within the next 7 days? If you ask those 5 questions, and what are 5 strengths? What are 5 strengths that God has given me? If you ask those 5 questions and give 5 answers to each of those questions, you have started your day with 25 positive thoughts about yourself. Now, some of you may be thinking, isn't that pride? And there's something wrong? Like we feel a little guilty about thinking good about ourselves, right? But But let me ask you this. Who created you? Who designed you? Who placed those good things within you and the ability to achieve those good things? Who enabled those good things to happen, right? See, at a fundamental level, we each struggle with this question, I'm not good enough. And so to think about things that we're good at, well, it causes an internal struggle with us. And I think it goes back to the Garden of Eden. Let's go back to Genesis, because this whole problem started there. Back to Genesis chapter 3. Genesis chapter 3. You've heard this story before, probably. Genesis chapter 3. Now the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. And he said to the woman, did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? First thing, question what God told her. Did God really say? Then, verse 2, the woman said to the serpent, we may eat the fruit from the trees of the garden, but God did say, you must not eat of the fruit from the tree that is in the midst of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die. The serpent replies, you will not certainly die. You will not certainly die, the serpent said to the woman, for God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. Now, I want you to pause for a moment on this conversation, because most often we immediately jump to the serpent plants a seed of doubt in her mind about God, right? Plants a seed of doubt in her mind about God. Is God really restrictive? Is God restricting you, holding things back from you? Did God really say this? And then if God said that, well, maybe God's withholding something from you. But I want you to look at the flip side of this. I want you to look at the flip side of this, because the devil does something to Eve here that every single one of us sitting here today has wrestled with ever since. What is the message he sends to Eve? By saying, you can rise higher. You can be better. You can have more knowledge. You can be more intelligent. What is the implication if you flip that around? You aren't intelligent enough. You aren't high enough. You aren't wise enough, right? All of those seeds of self-doubt are planted within Eve, along with a question about doubting God. So she is given two sources of doubt in this story. The serpent causes her to doubt God and to doubt and question herself. And that is the trap he uses with every single one of us every single day to get us to mistrust and break our relationship with God. If he can cause you to look at yourself and question and doubt yourself, then you are automatically questioning and doubting the God who created you. Are you with me? And he has severed that relationship and that connection and that confidence between you and your Father in heaven, your Creator. And he has placed in your heart, at the center of your life, a source of failure. You question God and you doubt yourself. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not smart enough. And the list of questions goes on and on and on. And so we live our lives in a state of failure because we believe the lies the devil has given us. Instead of, if you read the rest of the creation story, what does God say after he creates everything on the first day? It was good, right? Second day it was good. Third day it was good. He gets down and he comes down to creating Adam and Eve, and he gets down to the end of creating Adam and Eve, and what does he say? It is very good. When you look at your life, when you look at yourself, is it wrong to see and to say, very good? Do we need to go to the place not good enough? Do we need to dwell in the language of the serpent when we look at ourselves, or should we dwell in the language of our Creator when we look at ourselves? And now we see why Philippians 4:8 is so important. Paul is giving us the tools to focus on, because it doesn't just say when you look at others, when you look outside yourself, focus on these things. No, let's go back to Philippians 4:8, and I want you to read it a little differently this morning. Philippians 4:8. Philippians 4:8 says, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever, and I want you to insert yourself into this passage as we read it this morning. Whatever is, sorry, I have I've got a cheat tab. I need to wait a second for you to get there. I got a cheat tab so I can just flip right over to it and get going. Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true about you, whatever is noble about you, whatever is right about you, whatever is pure about you, whatever is lovely about you, whatever is admirable about you, if there is anything excellent or anything praiseworthy about you, I want you to think, I want you to dwell, I want you to meditate, I want you to live in those things. Does it change things a little bit to read it that way? Does it change the way you might think about yourself in the morning when you get up or in the evening when you get ready to go to bed? You see, the devil knows if he can get you thinking negative thoughts about yourself, then you will in turn need to think negative thoughts about someone else to make you feel better about yourself, because after all, if they have 3 wrongs and you have 1, you feel a little better about yourself, right? And the cycle of negativity repeats itself because it starts with how we see ourselves. Do we see ourselves as God sees us? Or do we see ourselves through the language of the serpent in the garden? And there are, all of us have things about ourselves that are negative. But the challenge, according to Philippians 4:8, is not never to think negative thoughts, but it's to set up and camp yourself and dwell in the positive, right? So, take this challenge. Start asking those 5 positive questions. It doesn't have to be the specific ones I listed, but those are good ones, right? Who loves you? What's good about me? What have I accomplished that I'm proud of? Like, what do I look forward to in the next 7 days, right? Those types of things. You can add anything positive you want to add in there are great questions to set yourself on that course. And you can also do that for someone else. But then add this challenge to it. Every time a negative thought comes into your mind, it's okay. Don't stress about it. But tell yourself 5 positive thoughts. Got that? Every time a negative, so you got these 5 questions in the morning, 5 questions in the evening. And every time a negative thought enters your mind, then follow that up with 5 positive thoughts. 5 positive things. If it's a negative thought about yourself, then it's 5 positive thoughts about yourself. If it's a negative thought about someone else, then it's 5 positive thoughts about that someone else. Are you with me? And this will reprogram your internal GPS to where when you wake up, it will tell you, alert, alert, alert. In 15 minutes, you're going to be going down this trail of positive thoughts. You're going to be dwelling in this road of what is good and holy and righteous and praiseworthy, right? This is going to be your pathway that you are traveling. You will reprogram your mind if you will walk in this path. He says, whatever you have learned, verse 9, whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you. The end result of all this is a life lived with peace. See, if you only think positive thoughts about others but negative thoughts about yourself, are you at peace? You're not. If you think positive about your thoughts about yourself, but negative thoughts about someone else, are you at peace? No, there's an internal discord, right, going on. But if you are dwelling in the positive about yourself and about those around you, it will transform and it will change your life. It will change your success at work. We've already seen it will change your health. It will also change your relationships. That's why the Bible tells us, what are we to do to our enemy? Heap coals of fire on their head, and those coals of fire are kind words and kind actions. Because an enemy cannot stay an enemy under a load of kindness. 5 things, positive 5 things about yourself and about those around you. And the God of peace will be with you. And the God of peace will be with you. There's an old story in Arabian Nights. I don't know if you've ever read that book. A lot of fun stories in there. But there's one particular story I had forgotten about. There's a man who has a dream. Any of you have dreams? Any of you ever had a dream that came true? All right. Well, what about like any of you had a self-fulfilling prophecy? Right? You believed something was going to happen and it ended up happening, right? Well, that's what this dream was kind of like. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy. So he had a dream one night, and in the dream, someone came and told him, you need to travel to a far-off place. He was living in Baghdad at the time, and in the dream, someone came and told him, you will travel to Cairo, and you will find an immeasurable treasure. He wakes up the next morning, dream fresh in his mind, and he's like, was that real or not? And so he packs up all his stuff, gets ready for a long journey, and he leaves Baghdad and he heads off for Egypt. And along the way, little by little, he has to leave more and more stuff behind. Finally, he gets there to Cairo and he begins searching around for this great treasure. And he begins asking around different people, has anybody heard of a great treasure to be found? And over time, as time goes, he gets more and more discouraged and it starts disbelieving. Well, maybe it was just, too much food the night before and had a dream. And finally he gets to the place where he's all out of resources and he's spent all the money he has and he's now poverty stricken and he turns to a life of crime in order to take care and survive. And he gets caught and he gets thrown in jail. So now he's there in jail. At the bottom, he's lost everything in life. Now he's a criminal and he's sitting there in his cell. He's like, what do I do? My life has been ruined because I followed this dream. And his cellmate began to struck up a conversation with him and he said, how did you get here? And the man tells him the story, how he had this dream and he traveled all the way over here. And the guy said, that's kind of strange. I had a dream also. I had a dream that I would find immeasurable treasure. And he goes on to describe this beautiful house with this amazing fountain in the courtyard. And there's this treasure buried under the courtyard, but he never followed the dream. Instead, he turned to a life of crime and got arrested and thrown in jail. And as the man from Baghdad, sitting here in a Cairo prison, hears this story, he begins to recognize the description that he's hearing. The house is familiar. And when he gets to the fountain, and the fountain is described, he realizes that was his house and his fountain back home in Baghdad. He finishes serving out his time. He packs up all what little he has left, and he heads back as fast as he can, and he gets back to his home back there in Baghdad. And he goes and he digs down there under the fountain, and sure enough, there under the fountain in his own courtyard is this immeasurable treasure of wealth. Right there in his own yard the whole time. See, so often we live our lives in a state of negative thinking about ourselves or about those around us, that we get caught up in this tidal wave of negativity. And God says that is not where joy is found. That is not the life I have for you. That is not what I will for you. That is not who I see you as. God says, I want you to wake up every morning, and I want you to ask yourself this one question above all others. As I look up into the heavens, and as I look to the pages of Scripture, who does my Creator say that I am? Who does He say I am today?
Who am I that the highest King would welcome me? I was lost, but He brought me in. Oh, His love for me.
The sun sets free. Oh, it's free. He has ransomed slave to sin, Jesus died for me. Yes, he died for me. Who the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God, yes I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am who you say I am. I am who you say I am. Redeemed, how I love to proclaim it. Redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed through his infinite mercy. His child and forever I am. Redeemed, redeemed. Redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed, redeemed. His child and forever I am. Redeemed, redeemed. Redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed, redeemed. His child and forever I am.
And now may the Lord bless you, and may the Lord keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace.